evening to everybody. Prime Minister, I want to acknowledge the presence of the Prime Minister and the other members of the Cabinet. And I want to also welcome all of you to St. James. So welcome to all the members of the Democratic Labour Party, residents of St. James, residents of the surrounding areas of Redmond's Village and Welch's, St. Thomas, for this political activity. They are honourable members of St. James. So let's welcome all of them, members, residents from Bagatelle Gardens, Welch's Terrace and Welch's Tenantry. And I want to say at the outset that it is indeed a privilege for me to address you this evening. And I want to make a few points this evening. But before doing so, I want to thank all the residents of St. James Central for supporting me at the last general election, for the words of encouragement that they had given to me during the course of my canvass over the past 4.5 years. Because as many of our party members and candidates, the job of political representative means that there is a continuous canvassing exercise being done, not just at election time, all throughout the period. We have to be in touch with our constituents. And I want to, as I say, thank them for the support, and I want to again to ask them and you, on behalf of the members, the parliamentary group in St. James, the Honourable Donald Ennis, the Senator Harry Huston, who has just put down a wonderful presentation, energizing persons in this group, and certainly setting the standard for what representation of people of St. James means. Representations, he's highlighted the challenges that we are facing along the West Coast. Harry spoke in respect of the challenges from Trent's north, but there are similar challenges in respect of the area from Trent's south right up to the old Paradise property. Challenges with the roads, challenges with the housing, major challenges, and many of our challenges are common. The flooding, annual flooding of areas like Trent's Tenantry, areas like the Sunset Crest area in Fitz Village. And these low-lying areas, every time the rain falls in the central parts of Bridgetown, of Barbados, we will be seeing flooding along the West Coast. And so that has been one of the challenges that we have faced, and certainly I have spent a considerable amount of time over the past 4.5 years trying to get the drainage unit. And I must compliment them on the work that they've done in cleaning the wells and looking at some of the canal systems, drainage systems within the West Coast. So they have been doing an excellent job, in my view, in terms of getting that done. But the road, my friends, has not been easy. For as you know, never in the history of the world have we had a recession of the magnitude of what we have been facing. I want to say that in spite of those financial challenges, we have still been able within the constituency of St. James Central to address some of the road issues, some of the housing issues, and some of the job issues that have been facing constituents. Some of the neglect of the Barbados Labour Party. And certainly, Harry spoke to the neglect of a couple of roads in Carrollton. We have had similar neglect in the roads in Risk Road, which we are working on at this time. The roads in Welch's, Bagatelle Gardens, Welch's Tenantry. Roads that were constructed by the Democratic Labour Party, and would you believe, as far back as when Joy Edwards moved residents from St. Andrew to Bagatelle Gardens, back in the 60s, late 60s, very early 70s. No work had been done on those roads ever since then. And that is the sort of representation that we have had in Bagatelle Gardens and Redmond's Village over the years from the Barbados Labour Party, because this is the first time in the history of Barbados that the Redmond's Village, Bagatelle Gardens area has been represented by somebody other than a member of the Barbados Labour Party. So in spite of the challenging financial situation that we face ourselves as a country, we have been able still, with the help of my colleagues within the cabinet, to get a few things done in St. James Central. I want, because it's important, I think, that you understand the financial situation that we have found ourselves since 2008. The sort of legacy, if one can call it a legacy, that has been left to the party by the Barbados Labour Party when they were government. And I was meeting a man during my canvass a couple of weeks ago in Bagatelle, who was saying to me, why Alpha want the government? If the government broke, why he want the government? Why he want to get his hands on it? That is the question that was put to me. But you only got to go back, Harry started a little bit about it, to tell the challenges that we have encountered prior to 2008. And you will recall, my friends, after we went to Parliament, both he and me had presented a statement of net worth after say he owned $1.5 million in assets. After 14 and a half years as Prime Minister of Barbados, he is trying to say that he is worth $1.5 million in assets. After a divorce, my friends, that he has paid out in that divorce. Am I hearing how much you pay out? Tell me how much you pay out. 6 digits. No, yes, you pay yet. Huh? That's the deposit. But he is the same author that came to Parliament in 1991 crying, saying he has to leave Parliament because he ain't making the money in politics. Politics is not making any money to him. The only politician in Barbados that have come into politics to make money. I thought we come into politics to serve the community that you live in, Barbados. I thought that is why we come into politics. It certainly is the reason why members of my party come into politics. But the others, the ones in red shirts, that is what they're coming to make money. And therefore, in the answer to the constituent who asked me why he's so anxious to get back in government, because he wants to get his hands on the honeypot. He wants to get his hands on the lolly. That is his objective, my friends. That is what he wants to be able to do. So therein lies my answer. But I don't want to Arthur, because I need to speak to members of the party in terms of the challenges that we are facing as a country going forward, and to be able, for you to be able to understand what we are having to deal with on a day-to-day basis, my friends. We are in a situation where we took up in 2008 with a country, a world really, with increasing price of grain. Grain prices, if you recall, were going through the roof in 2008 because of wheat and rice, followed by increasing price of fuel. Fuel in 2008 was $30 US a barrel. By the end of 2008, it had reached to $145 US dollars a barrel. And we had to deal with that. Challenges from the Labour Party, you know what they tell us? Subsidize. Subsidize that. That is the same approach that they had kicked the ball down the field. Subsidies that they put in place in 2007, subsidizing the price of fuel in this country, bringing BNOC to its knees, a corporation of government for the development of the natural gas mining and so on stop. As a result, BNOC can raise a red cent from the bank, $44 million in net liabilities at 2008, my friends. So we had to change that situation. Because we can follow that advice is not sustainable. We had to change it. And you have seen what has happened across the globe. In 2008, we were not aware that the recession at that time was going to be anything more than a 2 or 3 year recession. Nobody anticipated the depth of this particular crisis, followed in 2009 by substantial losses by in the US, the breakdown of the banking system, or the threat to break down the banking system in the US. The threat to break down the housing and mortgage system in the US. It collapsed. And with the multiplier effect, the challenge right away across the road, the ripple effect, from North America, from USA into the European countries, into Spain, country that has a substantial dependence on tourism out of USA, tourism out of the UK. Greece is coming to its knees as we speak